This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, locales, and incidents are either the products of the imagination or used in a fictitious manner.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Purge Bucket. I'm here with my co-host Harris, and today we have a special guest.
Yeah, special guest Havneh. Good, great long-term friend of mine, former IDF soldier, college student, and just all-around great guy. Havneh, how's it going?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, brother.
Hell yeah.
So first things first, man, I got to ask, what kind of gun did you carry in the military? You know, that's got to be the first question.
Well, I had a newer version of the Tavor. It's an Israeli-made just a rifle. Doesn't have an automatic option on it, so you can only shoot. It has a special kind of like mechanism that basically you can shoot like repeated bullets with a certain kind of clicking in the trigger.
But no automatic fire.
It's not automatic, but you can kind of shoot almost at an automatic speed with it.
You gotta just hit that trigger real fast.
Yeah, like you'll pull back once you hit the middle point. Mm-hmm. From there, you can kind of go like really quick, and then you can kind of like hit the
wow.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You have to get trained to do that. So I had that. That was like my regular rifle that I carried, and then my specialty was a submachine gunner. So I carried a Negev. That's also another Israeli submachine gun. That can also shoot, single bullets and also automatic as well.
Like what did it, like 9mm?
That was a 5.56. That was the bullet itself. It was about this. Yeah, I mean,
it's like a giant bullet. It's like a big dog.
Pretty big.
And you said it was heavy too?
Oh yeah, it was really heavy. It was about the gun itself was almost like, let's say, almost 20 pounds. And then you had like 4 drums. Each of those had 150 bullets, 150, 180. And then I had to carry a couple extra long chains as well. So that was just like my basic, like armory.
If you wanted to own a gun in your personal life in Israel, because you're in Israel right now, me and Harris are in the States. It's morning for us. It's night for you. If you wanted to own a gun for your personal life, what are the gun laws like in Israel?
Yeah, so I have one. I have a Glock 19. And I was able to, because it's such a security-focused country, because of the tensions here, and because almost every single person here is served in the military, and a lot of people also continue after their service in some form of security, in the Ministry of Defense or just private. And you also have people who live in like really in conflict zones as well, like in the West Bank. So they hand out guns pretty frequently.
Really?
For me, like my criteria was just the fact that I was in a special unit, so I just had to take that with me,
So you can get a gun pretty easy after you've served in that special unit.
Yeah,
they'll hook you up.
And also I worked at the U.S. Embassy as well, and I already had a gun.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so that's an interesting story. So after your service, you served as a guard at the UN?
At the U.S. Embassy.
U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, that was it was pretty tense because you're kind of on American soil in Israel, and American security, they take that very seriously. So it was way more intense than my service because it's really Israelis, like, we take things really seriously, but we also, like, we may fall asleep here and there, like on the ship.
Oh,
So how, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this question that doesn't make me sound like a total like idiot. How much
no,
are
you will.
thinking-
Don't worry.
Yeah, I should go in full, just knowing that. True. How much conflict are you seeing as an active member of the military in a place like Israel? Like, obviously, in the States, there's a big divide between just hearing about this stuff. It's kind of on your peripheral. Like, the Middle East is kind of fucked. The situation in Israel, there's a lot of shit happening that is, a lot of conflicts going down. So, just being on the ground, being there in real life, what's that like? Like, how often are you like preparing to go to fucking war?
Well, imagine a country surrounded by other countries that have, throughout history have been trying to, go to war and take over Israel in such a small, it's about the size of from San Francisco to Los Angeles. I think that's the size of the country. So,
Yeah.
Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt. So there's a constant, a constant reminder that, things can pop off at any second. Mm-hmm. So that's from the border standpoint. And then you also have, Gaza and the West Bank as well. And when you're, down in the Gaza area, so the people who live in the settlements in Israel are constantly under attack from missiles being shot over. The past 2 years, Gaza was shooting, we were sending over gas-filled balloons and like in these kites. So they would they basically like land in the fields and then they would ignite. Yeah, so they were like burning down people's fields, settlements. And there's always constant threats of people building tunnels into Israel. So it's pretty intense. You have people, constantly under rocket fire. And then in the West Bank, that's even more intense because you have Jews basically settling within the Palestinian territory. So you have to, as an army, protect and just kind of keep the peace as well. But also terrorist attacks, constantly. When I was in the army, it was the third Intifada, which started in 2015, and it went on for about I'd say 9 months of just intense. Every day there were terrorist attacks. You had them in Tel Aviv. You had stabbings, people getting run over, people drive-by shootings.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. And in that time, I was posted in Nablus, and I was there for about 7 months. And I was actually there. I mean, one of my first shifts. That was when everything popped off. When it was a family of 5 was killed. They had these terrorists planned a double-sided drive-by attack on a family. And, they killed everyone except for I think 2 kids. So it's pretty intense. So that's just like that. And imagine, I'm telling you about something that happens today, but Israel's been going through this for since 1948. So there's a constant kind of feel in the country itself of tension.
So how does that stress manifest itself? How do you deal with that? Just, the stress of being in the army, obviously you could get woken up at any time with some crazy shit going down. You never know. Sounds like everyone is fully strapped up there. So they're always ready for some shit to pop off. How does that, how do you deal with that stress or what, how does that manifest itself?
Well, I mean, once you're a soldier, it's kind of that's your life, because it's mandatory too. So you get used to it in a way. You kind of get desensitized to it. The only times where I would feel any sort of stress was actually going into crossing. In Israel, you have certain lines. You have like certain zones basically, and like the more you go in towards the center, the more, like I'm talking about the West Bank. So the more you go in towards the center of the West Bank, it gets more dangerous basically because you're in complete Palestinian territory. No longer where Jews can settle, right? So when we go in there for missions, that's when I would feel stress, crossing the border into those areas.
So what do they send you in
Hold
there
on,
to do?
yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Are you allowed to talk about these missions?
I can't really tell you, like the details of missions specifically, but I can tell you that if it had to do with arresting people who committed terrorist attacks, things preventing future terrorist attacks, based off of whatever intelligence the Israeli intelligence would give us, or give the people high up in the army. So there was a lot of stuff going down. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty stressful. I mean, there was even one morning when we were down guarding the Gaza area, and whenever there's fog kind of that goes over the border, there's a lot of attempts to cross from Gaza into Israel. So they usually try to get fence and stuff like that. So then you have to hit the vans and run over there, because also one of the specialties of my unit was being the first response to any breakthrough of the border. So if someone crosses the border, or pops up from a tunnel into one of the settlements, then we're the first response.
So you guys are kind of like Israeli ICE.
No, I wish. Israeli ICE is basically a machine gun, an automatic machine gun that guards the border.
Wait, do you guys have that? You have like automatic weapons like that?
Yeah,
is that real?
It's connected because you have cameras all around. Make sure things are.
So by automatic, do you mean like automatic firing, or you mean automatic like it detects people and shoots them kind of thing? I might have jumped the gun there on my.
No, more like it's controlled by I'm probably going into things I shouldn't probably tell you.
Damn, controlled by a computer, dude. I'll say it if you're not. What the fuck? That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's like a Tesla self-driving machine gun, bro.
Bro, that's like in a video game when you walk out of the border and you just die because you went outside the border of the game level.
Yeah. Too far,
dude. That's fucking insane.
Turn back. There's a timer.
Holy shit.
Oh man. Because I have to say that like the people on the other side of the border, their almost weekly objective is they'll bring news reporters to the border, Palestinian news reporters, and then they'll basically provoke the soldiers and provoke the people guarding the border, throwing rocks or throwing Molotov cocktails and stuff like that, and we'll try to get a big commotion going on, and then they'll go up to the fence when you're not supposed to. You're never supposed to just go up to any kind of border fence and touch it, right? No matter what country you're in.
Or throw rocks at the guys. Yeah, probably not.
So what they'll do is that they'll cause that, provocation, and then they'll initiate a response. It's an obligated response, and then they'll record that, and then they'll send that back to America. So then, people in the States, all they see is Israeli soldiers, attacking innocent Palestinians for no reason, and all these freedom fighters, but it's like really a one-sided provocation and instigation.
Wow. So
yeah, we learned about that in Jewish school, man. And me and Havneh went to the same high school way back.
So you're from America originally, and you moved over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when did you move over there? What made you do that?
So I grew up in San Francisco until I was 18, and senior year, after going through a a couple tragedies in high school. Both in my family and also my in Harris and I's close friend group. I had to basically take a lot of responsibility in my house and then kind of grow up really quick. So 12th grade, I was sitting there thinking, okay, next year I have to go to college. And I just went through all these insane experiences at home, a lot of, lost family members and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking like, okay, if I go to college, it's less likely of a chance that, people there are going to make sure I'm doing what I need to do and that, I'm taking care of my responsibilities and stuff. Because, college is kind of that time in America where you can, you don't have to be as responsible. It's like it's socially accepted, to go out and party and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I felt like that wasn't what I needed for myself. And I kind of needed to keep going on that path of a self-development and finding myself and growing. And I had gone on a trip to Israel like the previous summer, and I saw soldiers who were like 19 years old. And I told myself, wow, I mean, being 19 in America and then being 19 in Israel and having all that responsibility, like there was such a huge contrast there. And I felt that, as a Black Jew, right? So I felt
Charles never seen that before.
I felt some kind of responsibility, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you basically joined the army to level yourself up, it sounds like. How did you change from when you went over there to now, basically? And we can talk about the Black Jew stuff in a little bit. I think that's interesting too.
For sure. I think the first change was just the fact that I put myself in another difficult situation with the desire to grow out of it. So that in and of itself already, made me mature up a little bit. And then, throughout the army, whether it was, I had training that lasted about a year and 3 months. And in that training was a lot of physical, a lot of physical tests that we had to go through. And so that kind of built my character and then really like I was able to prove to myself that, it's all in my mind and I can, my body and whatever else can go through anything, if my mind's in the right place and I can, accomplish whatever I set my mind out to.
So is that something you figured out from like some kind of talking to somebody there or like some kind of training, or is that just something you figured out yourself through doing it?
These were things, look at it this way. You go out to somewhere like across the world and you're completely unplugged from society. So it's just you and your thoughts, right? So I was just very engaged in my experience. And I was just focused on growing. So I just learned from my environment, from my experience, from people around me, from just talking.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. So what's it like being a Black guy in Israel? Like, is that different from being a Black guy in America? Tell me about that.
I think being a Black guy anywhere around the world kind of has its similarities in society and the way the society kind of levels out its I'd say it's class or it's hierarchy or the way people who assume there's some kind of hierarchy usually treat Black people, in my opinion, in my experience, in a similar fashion. In Israel, when I was a soldier, I didn't feel as much because I was wearing a uniform. And so I had something that, Israelis could see me as, someone who's protecting them. And they were like, okay, he's obviously, on our side and all this, and we can, relate to him. And when I got out of the army, suddenly I got, a reality check. And I was just, to them, they just looked at me as some kind of immigrant. Most people here on the street don't even think I'm Jewish. And I'm walking around saying, like, I protect you, you ungrateful. For 3 years, and I was sacrificed, almost like got myself killed to protect this country.
Wow.
Can you tell us about that story when that happened?
Nah, I can't go into details because I have to tell you about the mission itself. But
Okay.
So do you ever
That's
regret
crazy.
it?
I never knew that.
Do you regret it in those situations where you're like, you guys are ungrateful? Like, does that make you regret your time a little bit?
It's definitely a mental challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like you definitely get those thoughts at first, but then you tell yourself, I mean, not everyone's like that. And if something I've learned about Israelis, which is kind of different than in the States, is that people aren't really afraid to have conversations about stuff like that. So if you bring things up, my friends here, like if I bring up stuff that I've experienced in America, things that are going on in the world, let's say in regards to racism, so people actually like they want to learn about it. You know what I'm saying? They're like,
really?
wow. Yeah, and like and just that already gave me more of a positive outlook on it.
So what is that? Is it a cultural thing? Like people just are more open, or people are interested, like because you're from a different country? Like what is that?
I think the fact that I kind of stand out here. These guys are very intrigued by things that look new to them or different.
Yeah.
So they're already that makes them, want to ask a lot of questions. And Israelis in general, way more open people, I think, than in the States. You can talk about, you can meet your taxi driver 1 second, and then he'll just, ask you about your life, and you guys get into this deep conversation about whatever it's going on in the world. And people are really, there's no, social barriers, oh, you don't ask me a private question or something like that. People are like really open.
Does it ever get too crazy where people are just asking you stuff and you're like, bro, I'm not trying to tell?
People ask you how much you earn in a month.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
wow. Yo, in America, that's like a forbidden thing. Like they don't want you talking about that kind of stuff. That's really funny. Like talking about money at work and stuff. It's just really, dude, recipe for disaster, bro. That's crazy.
So I got a quick question. So when you're doing the training, like, is it like SEALs training like we see in the movies where you're carrying giant trees with your friends and running through the water? What kind of training exercises happened?
Not stuff like that because like it's not something that I was in a special unit like within an infantry brigade, so that wasn't our something. The Navy SEALs, like they work a lot with the Navy and with the water, so whatever the training is probably going to be focused around what they're going to be doing in the actual tours. But it was a lot of long I don't know how you'd say it in English, but I think they call it like marching or mushing or something like that. When you just have to walk like kilometers on kilometers with a bunch, it's like being prepared for war and going out.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling me about rucking. You told me about this. You had a heavy backpack, and over time you hurt your ankle. How's your ankle doing?
That's because I fell asleep while I was walking. That was when I was doing navigations, and I fell asleep.
You fell asleep while you were walking?
Yeah, bro. I was so sleep deprived that I dozed off while I was walking, and I took a big step, and I didn't notice that the ground had suddenly went downhill. And then I fell on it. There's no vehicle in sight that was gonna come rescue me, so I was like, okay, I could lie here on the ground and get hypothermia, or I can get up and just tighten my shoes and keep on walking for the whole week. So that's what I did.
Oh man.
So I was thinking, when you said you fell asleep while you're walking, that you fell asleep and your brain keeps walking for you. What you're saying is that you fell asleep and your body just straight fell asleep and you fucking fell over kind of thing.
What happened is I was walking and dozing off. So it was what the first thing you said. Yeah, my body was still going, but I wasn't aware of my surroundings because up here I was sleeping.
Oh.
Almost like sleepwalking. And
wow.
But you missed a step because of it.
Yeah, I missed a step and then I fell and hit the ground.
And that woke you up probably.
Yeah, that woke me up really.
Dude, that's fucking
Oh,
crazy.
But the training, I mean, we had everything, bro. We had basic training, advanced training, and then within that, there were a lot of punishments as well that we endured. That could be being in push-up position for an hour and a half, and going back and forth, crawling through thorns, all kinds of stuff, bro. Carrying people on your back for for hours. So yeah, it was pretty intense.
Wow, it's amazing that the human body can even do that. Excuse me.
I think it's just trauma. I think the human body, once it's in the trauma mode and it's in the survival mode, you feel less. You know what I mean? Because today there's no way I could do that. When I was 18 and they told me, oh, here, take this gun and go walk, go do all this stuff, go shoot. Back then, your body can handle that kind of stuff. But after that trauma, man, my first time I had reserves duty like a year and a half ago. And I was like lying down on the ground shooting this submachine gun. I was like, damn, my elbows hurt. Like this, what am I doing? I'm gonna get a fever. I should go to bed. Like, why am I doing this drill right now? Like, I feel like I'm in pain. And I'm like, how did I do this for 3 years?
What do you do these days?
So now I'm in my third year studying nutrition science over here. I do that mainly, and then I box on my spare time and train. I'm actually training for a marathon in February, so I've been doing a lot of running.
So do you miss? A lot of soldiers say this, they go to the shit and they come back and they're like, their adrenaline was so jacked being, overseas or whatever. Their adrenaline was just going. It's so exciting. You've got this constant threat looming. You've got this crazy shit could pop off at any second. Do you miss that kind of excitement? Is that why you box and stuff like that? Or are you're just, don't feel that way?
I definitely miss the adrenaline rush of the missions that we had.
Yeah. So what do you do to replace that today?
I mean, I definitely think that boxing gives me, like you said, gives me that fix. But I've also always enjoyed, combat sports. Since I was in high school, Harris remembers I did in high school Muay Thai and BJJ. And I was always better at, independent sports versus team sports. And I don't know, I feel like the society kind of turns a blind eye on violence. I think there's certain violence that's actually, awesome. So getting in the ring and punching each other, I think that's a beautiful thing. So, yeah.
So how do you reconcile that with with your faith or with that kind of that kind of thing? Like, are you practicing
Judaism, you're saying?
Yeah.
I used to be way more. I mean, I think I'm a spiritual guy in general.
Yeah.
And I like to take the good values from all faiths, and anything that's positive and stuff like that, then I'll learn from it. But being in the West Bank and seeing a religious conflict and what it does, and seeing it in such an extreme fashion, kind of pushed me away from it, especially from Judaism.
Really?
I felt in certain ways that it was kind of like at least the people who I was protecting, and also the people in my environment, I felt like looked at everything in a very one-tracked mind, and it was like, oh, the other side, they're the bad guys, and we're completely fine. And there was a lot of a lack of taking responsibility, and it takes two to tango. That's something I firmly believe. So
for sure,
I felt like there was a lot of negative attitudes in the Jewish community a lot of hypocrisy that I felt like people weren't able to look at, and that kind of pushed me away from the religion.
What kind of hypocrisy?
Just because I felt that, and I feel like I have the right to say it because I, defended the Jewish people. So I take that as my right to criticize them as well, and being a part of it. I feel like as a Jewish community, there's not any responsibility taking when the Jewish community itself acts elitist or racist or discriminates against other people. And there's the kind of like, oh, we're fine. We're just the people that's being picked on for thousands of years. So, like we're the victims. And I'm not saying, like that's, historically isn't true. And that, the Jewish people haven't gone through, like they have gone through a lot of tragedies, throughout for thousands of years, but they're not perfect. And I think that in order for a people to move forward, they have to be able to look in at themselves and self-reflect. And that's something I think that's really missing.
Sure, for sure. So,
do you think that Israeli people are less reflective in general than Americans?
They have a lot more pride than Americans. So in some ways, yeah. In some ways, they're less reflective because in Israel, people don't really want to show their weakness. I think, self-reflection is being able to say, hey, I was wrong. And people here have so much pride that they, even if they know they're wrong, they won't say, they won't apologize because they think, if I apologize, then I'm just being a pushover. And that's like something very non-Israeli.
If I apologize, the Palestinians might invade as soon as I apologize.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I wonder if it's similar to, because the funny thing is Israelis and Jews and Palestinians and Muslims are all they're very similar. Mm-hmm. And I went on a date with a girl, an Arab girl, like before this whole COVID thing started. Mm-hmm. And she's stalking me now.
What, is she trying to like annex your apartment, bro? What's going on?
I told her to stop talking to me. I got a text a while ago. It said, I just want to see how you're doing. I think she's too proud. She has that same pride because last night she texted me, threatening me. Oh, I think I drank. She
texted you. I want to wipe you off the map. I want to wipe you off the.
Dude, no, I think she's trying to Me Too me, bro. She's
what?
Like, I drank some milk. I drank some milk at your place, and I'm lactose intolerant, by the way. I don't even carry milk.
Wait.
She's like, I drank some milk and fell asleep, and I just want to talk to you, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Dude.
So she's like saying that you drugged the milk to roofie her, but you're saying you're lactose intolerant. Your Honor, there's a flaw. Bro, that's like a mystery in like a fake game, like a movie or something, where it's like he couldn't have done it because he's lactose intolerant. Like,
yeah, dude.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Oh man,
holy shit.
I know, Havneh, I know you've had this problem as well.
Oh yeah, man. I had someone who made up an entire, like, not only did they make up a story that didn't make any sense, there was also the fact that like there was straight up witnesses. Like Harris was a witness to everything that was going on.
Literally everything, bro. Literally everything.
I'm not proud of it, but there was no lack of consent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, bro. There was no privacy. It was all in the open.
Where were you guys? At like a party? You guys were at a party or something?
We were at my house. And we were 15 years old. So legally, we don't have we can't actually make consent at that age. And also, like, I was a virgin, and then she was like, came out saying like, you told me we had sex. I'm like, I mean, I was a virgin, so why would I tell you something?
Yeah, bro. He doesn't have milk once again.
He doesn't have milk.
I only lost my virginity when I was 16, so why would I make that up?
Dude, he's never made a milk deposit in his life, bro.
No lactose.
I think that sometimes people try to put. I mean, I've experienced certain people in my life kind of blame me for them not wanting to take responsibility for themselves, and just being ashamed of their actions. So they're like, oh, instead of looking at myself, the same thing we're talking about, you know, like people are really scared of just looking at themselves, and they have this fear of like, oh, I can't make a mistake. I'm not to blame, so I'm gonna blame everyone around me.
For sure.
That's it. Yeah, that's rough. Speaking of people with personality defects, I got a commercial here that I want to plug for the Sociopath Registry. This is a very serious website where if you know yourself to be, or another individual to be a sociopath, you can register them at the registrar, the sociopathregistry.com.
We've been doing a lot of ads for dating sites lately.
A lot of dating sites, bro. Connecting future politicians, bankers like your friend. Anyone without emotions or empathy is welcome to join.
Wait, I have a question though.
Yeah.
If two sociopaths meet, like, are they plotting against each other? Like, is that...
Oh,
I think for sure.
I mean, I think it's like a Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell type of thing sometimes too, though.
You got to team up.
You got to team up to rule the world, bro.
But then you're kind of teaming up with, like, you know, you have terms. So like if someone fucks up, they're going. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what happened to Jeffrey, man.
Damn, that's a stressful relationship.
Yeah, man. No love, bro. That's hella stressful.
Yo, what's the dating scene like in Israel? What's that like?
It's pretty strong. I mean, because Israel's a very family-oriented. It has a very family-oriented culture over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of based on religious values. So, you know, people usually would rather be in a relationship than, you know, fool around as well. And it's also such a small country too, so people like don't want others to find out, you know, what they're doing or who they're sleeping with. So it more goes on the relationship side, but there's a whole population of Israelis who, like, you know, hit 27 and they haven't been in a relationship. So they've just decided that it's all polygamy and, you know, yeah. So if you want to just like really mess around, then I'd say, like, you know, hit the 28 and above club.
28 is like the cutoff there to become a full-on freak, is what you're saying. Like, damn, that's crazy. So you got like two kind of extreme opposites there. You've got like a sort of a monogamy-based, family-oriented like dating scene where you're like trying to find the one and you're trying to take things serious and you have, you know, all that. And then you got like that naturally would create people who react to that, but maybe on like a secret level where they're just going nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then you also have, like, I don't know, man. It's rough because it's kind of like a Middle Eastern mindset. So Israeli guys, even though they're trying to look for the one, once they get that one, they're still trying to look for others. You know what I'm saying? Because like Middle Eastern mindset is like, it's all about like, how many wives can I get? You know what I mean? But you can't mess around with Israeli girls because Israeli girls hold Israeli men by the nuts.
What is that? What do you mean? They're real commanding?
Oh yeah, commanding, aggressive. It's like you just see Israeli dudes, like, they're like all silent and like the girls.
Speaking of which, how's your woman? How's your lady?
Good. She's studying in the other room, but her and I have a much more balanced relationship because, you know, I come from a different part of the world, so, you know.
I see. Yeah, it gives you a little bit of a little insulation against a situation, perhaps.
I've had to think at times like, hey, like I'm not, you know, some Israeli guy. So.
Oh.
So is that more of a thing though, where Israeli guys are more submissive to the woman, not just the woman is like more authoritative? Really?
Hell yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, it's matriarchal, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
Ruth, dude, straight Ruth shit. Yeah,
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
No, from the Bible, dude. I don't know. I'm just naming like famous women from the Bible, bro.
I mean, Israeli dads like over here are much different than American dads, who are like, you know, way more cold and authoritative, and you know, Israeli dads are a little more sensitive, and so it's Israeli moms are the ones that, you know, like you don't want to mess with. Like they're the ones who are like doing all the yelling and all the discipline and all that. So
That's
I think people grow up like already with that fear of the Israeli woman. So
wow. What do they what do they call?
I fit right in.
Damn, bro. What are they? What is it? It's like what's a shiksa, right? A shiksa is an Israeli woman that goes after non-Israeli guys.
No, Shiksa is a non-Israeli, non-Jewish.
yeah.
A non-Jewish. Oh, a Gentile girl.
Yes.
Oh.
In fact, they call them Gentiles because they're more gentle than Israeli women.
I like that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, you shiksa. You're so shiksa.
Yeah.
Dude, wow. So what is the what's the COVID situation like over there? Is it locked down and stuff, or are you guys pretty much not locked down?
We're kind of like, I'd say like 50% in a lockdown right now. Places are closed at the moment. And I think it was like yesterday or like the day before, there was like 1,500 people got sick. I mean, for us, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's messed up because the politicians here are trying to use the situation to avoid going to court. So like if I shut down the country, they're not going to send me to court for my corruption charges. Let's try to keep this going on as long as possible.
Dude, that's hilarious. That's one way to get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And
Jeez.
the stimulus check was also just embarrassing. It was like $200 for like everyone.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got 1,200 here in America. Dude,
Also
they're talking about Biden giving us another one.
Well, yeah. I mean, they shut everybody down and they barely gave us any money at all. And it's like, how are people supposed to do fucking anything? You know what I mean? People are fucking, I don't know what it's like in Israel, dude. People are losing it over here, man.
Oh yeah.
Like people are fucking losing their shit, dude.
I'm sure. I mean, because that's the thing. Like Israelis are already pretty vocal people about like when they're upset. Like they just say their emotions. They yell all the time.
Yeah.
Americans, like you have to like be kind of like, you have to smile when you're upset or stuff like that, and be like, "No, sir, you can't come in here."
Right.
So when people get mad in America, it's like fucking Armageddon. When people lose their shit, it's like I've been keeping this bottled up for like every day of my life. I'm just gonna go ham at Macy's and just fucking like punch a security guard because like fuck that, I'm not wearing a mask.
Wow.
Am I right? Like I feel like that's
accurate.
Oh yeah, dude.
That sounds about right.
A lot of like repressed emotion and then one like final outburst versus just a constant mini outburst. I think it's much healthier to have a constant mini outburst for sure. I wish here's the thing is like, I instinctually know that, like, I know that's a better way to be, but I'm so like, that's so hard to do, dude. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't. Yeah. It's like, you know, from an early age, I feel like I've been like that, where it's like, you kind of I don't want to share when I'm upset. You know, people ask you like, how are you? How are you? And if you're like, oh, life sucks. People are just like, oh, dude, I don't want to be around you. You know, fucking negative ass. Like, I don't want to dude, your vibe is off, man. Like, you know, people don't want to hang out with you. So
that sucks. Cause like at the end of the day, America has the highest, you know, like depression rates in the whole world. So like, obviously people need to start talking about what they're going through and like make that like a normal thing to do. Cause it's just getting worse and worse.
No, but see, if we don't talk about it, then it'll just go away. That's what you're forgetting, sir.
Until like the next school shooting.
Yeah.
Right,
Which, school shootings, I think COVID pretty much cured those, which is great. Solution, just don't send anyone to school. Dude, so I wanted to ask you, like, if you, because I kind of want to call this podcast, the title, I kind of want to make this called like Peace in the Middle East or something like that. What's your solution for peace with the current situation? I know there might not be a solution that's easy, but if you were in charge, they gave you all the power, all the keys, all the money.
I would ban any kind of religious government for the whole country.
Really?
So religion and politics can't be mixed. And if you take that out, then this whole war is a religious war. It's like, oh, who has the historically religious rights to be here? Islam versus Judaism. Like, that's really what's going on. And so if you take that out and just make one democracy for everyone, it changes the whole society.
Wow. So yeah, because Israel is basically a theocracy now, surrounded by theocracies that are the opposite, kind of thing.
What is a theocracy?
It's like a religious, like what he said, like a religious government, basically, where it's like theo is like religious and then Chrissy is like the government. So sort of like a religious government where faith is tied into the structure, the power structure.
It sucks because like politics are already pretty religious in like their dynamics. So.
Dogmatic, dude. Yeah,
so
for
if you
sure.
add that faith behind it, it gets super intense because all the decisions are like, how do we control these people and make our God the belief. So
it sounds like being over there has kind of turned you off to that sort of organized religion. Like, correct me if I'm wrong there. It's kind of turned you off to that sort of dogmatic way of thinking.
Yeah, definitely has. And I've definitely seen, now that I'm out of the army, I see the whole conflict in much different light than I did when I was, 18.
What do you see differently now?
I just see a hamster wheel, you know what I'm saying? Like, never-ending cycle. And I feel that the Israeli government could have definitely stopped the cycle many years back. And then they realized, oh, well, we're getting funding from America in order to keep the situation. And Gazans are getting billions of dollars from the States and from activist organizations. So we're each getting paid to do what we got to do. So
wow.
You know what I mean? And
wow.
So I look at it, now from afar, and I'm like, because I go to school, with Muslims. I go to school with, Jews, Russians, Ethiopians, Arab Christians, and we're all just trying to like get our degrees and everything, and no one's thinking about all this kind of stuff. So obviously there are people here who are trying to just live their lives. And politicians, in the Israeli government and leaders in Gaza or in the West Bank who are just trying to get that bank, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, the West Bank, dude, straight up. That's really crazy that money would be at the root. I mean, it's not crazy, but it is crazy to hear it, that money is, because people talk about that money being at the root of war and all that kind of thing. But it totally makes sense, if you're getting all this money to sort of keep doing what you're doing, why would you stop doing it, right? It's like, makes total sense. So would you say that there's like more people that are on your kind of wavelength with this kind of stuff, or are you more like an outsider in thinking that over there?
It's difficult because everyone here, they put it either on the right or on the left, and you have people in the center as well. So
yeah,
I'd say my views are more center, left.
Centrist.
Centrist. Like, with a little bit on the left because I'd obviously rather not go to war and not send my kids to war, mandatory. So it's tough because even the most leftist person here, if I were to tell them, okay, let's we break down all the borders and we mix everyone in, they'll still have that kind of that sudden fear of like, oh, whoa, wait, we have to share this country? That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? because the Israeli education is also Jewish education. So in people's subconscious, they have all these, religious ideas that are running through their head, and they're telling them like, oh, like you can't really share this country. So.
Wow. So, I think we're getting pretty close to the end here, but, one thing I wanted to ask you before we go is,
and don't forget plugs after that too.
Got a plug. Whatever dating site is advertising with us next. Dude, so what, you talked about, kind of how faith plays a role in all this stuff, your spirituality. What do you think God is? Do you believe in God? Like, what is your understanding of, if you can even, articulate that? I know it's kind of difficult to articulate, but what's your understanding of God?
I think my understanding of God has definitely also changed throughout the years. I used to look at God as this kind of like, guy up in the sky that's supposed to solve all my problems and make sure everything's good. And then I would blame him for when things weren't good. And so I eventually just took out the human characteristics to God. Just kind of look at it as this higher power and higher knowledge that we are all just manifestations of that. And so that's why, we can't use, like, let's say all of the percent of our brain, because, we're all sharing this knowledge and sharing this power. And that's all it is.
Word. That kind of ties in nicely with what you were saying about like taking responsibility. Like people don't want to take responsibility. So it's like you kind of have this, this understanding of God where it's like a separate guy who is like plotting against you to make your life suck. He's like doing all this stuff to you, and it's really, because it's like you're human, you know what I mean? Like you want a reason for why stuff's happening, and there must be some guy like plotting against you. What you're saying is if you take that guy out, it's just you and you dealing with your shit. There we go. All right.
Exactly.
Hell yeah. All right, Harris, you got anything you want to plug before we go?
Yeah, guys, don't forget to go to Sociopath Registry and sociopathmeets.com. And Havneh, more importantly, do you have anything you want to plug before we go?
Yeah, we talked a lot about, some intense subjects here. I think at the end of the day, like, we all have something in common, and we all can definitely put things aside and just reflect and decide collectively at the end of the day, like what's good for all of us, and find that middle ground. So it's important to put out those positive ideas as well.
For sure. Got to take that dual Israeli-American approach where you're open like an Israeli, but you're reflective like an American. I think that's what's up, dude. All right.
Thank you for joining us, Havneh.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, so we thought the podcast was over. It's not over. Havneh told us he has a ghost story, so I'm gonna let him tell that now.
Yeah, it's a pretty creepy one, actually, and it makes no sense. Until this day, I don't have any explanation for it. So this was like senior year. I think about like 3 months after my dad passed, and I'm at school, and like school just ended, and my mom calls me, and she's like, "Where are you?" Right, and like I got in a lot of trouble like in high school, so. My mom calls me like that. I'm like, fuck. Like, what did she find out? So she's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at school. She's like, don't lie to me. I'm like, I swear to God. Like, here's this. I'm talking to the security guard because I chat up with the security guard all the time. And she's like, okay. She's like, I'll call you right back. She calls me back, and she tells me, okay, you need to go home right now because I just got off the phone with the dog walker. Because my dog would get picked up every other day to go on the dog walks because no one's at home. And she said that in the morning or earlier in the day, whenever she came by to get the dog, she went downstairs to the garage where usually he's over there, and she has a key to the garage, and so we don't leave the garage door double locked so she can get in, right? Take the dog and go on the walk. And she said that when she got there, it was locked. So she walked upstairs and she like went to knock on the door, or knock on the door, whatever. I used the other key or going from upstairs, and someone opened the downstairs door. She heard the downstairs door open, and she went down, and she said this man handed her the dog. And so she thought that it was me, right? And so my mom only figured out that like, oh, I wasn't at home, so someone must have been in the house. Okay. So now my mom's freaking out, and she told me that the lady said that my dog, first of all, a dog, let's just put this out there, if a dog sees an intruder, it's not going to be wagging its tail, it's not going to be happy and stuff like that and all friendly. It'll like you'll be able to see on a dog if it fears the situation. You know what I'm saying? Even like the nicest dog knows when shit's going down, right?
Yeah.
She said that the dog was acting completely normal, was super excited, and then a tall, middle-aged black man, handed her the dog, and then just closed the door. And
it wasn't your dad wasn't home.
My dad already passed a couple months ago.
Wow.
Right. So we get there. I went there first, and I called the cops, and I told them, okay, like this is. We think our house was maybe broken into and all this, and so like, can you guys like show up at the house? I told them too. I was like, listen, I'm also tall and black, so it's not me. Just so you guys know, when
if you're looking for the suspect, it's not me. The cops are like, we got him, we know.
I get there and I see the cops like on the roof and like all around the house. And I could pull up, and they said that okay, like they came in, I gave them the key and all that, and they went through the whole house. They said there was zero signs of breaking in. There was like nothing. Okay.
Damn.
So we go in the house, dude. All of our laptops are out. Like everything is exactly how it was. Okay. And now like I'm starting to freak out because it was like, okay. My dog was acting completely normal. Okay. B, this man or whoever was in the house didn't take anything. Everything was open, right? So they could have been there all day. They could have taken everything we had, right? They didn't touch anything. Nothing was broken into. Okay. So how did they get in the house, right? And so our conclusion from what happened was that basically, we understood that when someone dies, usually people like you can see in the obituary that the male in the house had passed away, and a woman and her kids left at home. Usually that's written in the paper, right? So the people who steal from houses will actually target homes like that.
Oh wow, okay,
that's depraved.
Yeah, and so. Our conclusion was that my dad basically, showed up to warn us, basically, to watch out.
Wow.
Yeah, because like there's no other explanation to this day that makes sense of who would be handing the dog, and how would a burglar know that the dog needs to go out? You know what I'm saying?
No,
why would he be hide?
Wow.
So
how would the dog be so happy and normal?
Exactly. That's a key ghost clue right there, is the dog, dude. Classic. Wow. So
lactose. No lactose.
No lactose, dude. The dog is the no lactose. Fucking busted. You're busted. Dude, so did you guys like change how you were sort of moving after that? Like how you were like prepare for shit? Like did it work? The warning work?
We got the ADT, that home security.
Yeah.
I put, the beepers all over the house, and since then had no problems.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something else, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Unless it was you. You were the
Yeah,
tall black man.
secretly.
It was me. Gotcha.
Oh,
Got
man.
him.
Got him.
Yeah, I had my friend like tell me that she was walking like down in LA, and she like just saw this older man that had this whole presence about my dad, and she's like that's his dad. Like she knew him, and she was like just had this whole like kind of cold feeling about the situation.
Whoa.
And he just kind of like walked off. And my mom also had that experience as well, where she was walking down on the Burlingame boardwalk in south from San Francisco, and her and my dad used to walk down there with our dog, and they would sit by the water, and she was walking there with my dog, and she was looking up ahead, and she saw like an older black man with a beard sitting. She couldn't really see his face, but she kind of saw him from the side, sitting at a bench like way in front of her. And as she got closer, like he got up and walked away. And the whole thing felt like from afar she could feel this weird energy about it too. And as she got closer, she saw like he had left like a bunch of peanut shells all over the ground. And her and my dad used to always roast peanuts together.
Yo!
Yeah.
Dude.
That was like their thing. That was they do every weekend. They would just like, roast peanut shells, and how he left the shells and everything just out there. Like she was like, fuck.
Dude, I think I solved it though. I think you just have like a stalker, dude. I think you just got some guy following you around. No, dude, that's actually that's really crazy. That is
The guy looking for the milk.
dude, he left his milk all over the ground. But he was lactose intolerant.
That's my story, bro. It's gonna be I'm gonna see some girl leaving milk somewhere and be like, "Oh no!"
I actually have another crazy one where I didn't see someone, but I felt someone's hands behind me.
Whoa!
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was doing the tryouts for my unit, and it was like I think like between 2 and 3 days. You didn't sleep at night. It was just like nonstop. And I think we had just finished about like 2 hours of crawling on thorns, just back and forth. And then we had to get up and just get our bags and start walking. Right, and that was like the last one in the line. And there was no
dude. I had to do that yesterday. I like crawled through a mile of thorns, and then I just had to walk forever. I hate it, dude. I feel you on that. Totally relatable shit, dude. I hate. Sorry, keep going.
So I was the last one there too, and I'm trying to keep up with keep the pace with the group, right? Because you don't want to see like you're falling behind and then have them like boot you from the tryouts too. But I was exhausted. I could kind of feel myself like opening up like some distance with the guy in front of me. And then I started kind of like, thinking, I was like giving myself like motivation, thinking about like, okay, what I've been through and everything and like why I'm here and why I got to keep going. Right. And then I just felt I literally felt someone grab my back, like my vest from behind and just like push me forward. I almost fell. I literally almost fell too. Like someone literally just started running with me from behind and like threw me and like almost hit the guy in front of me. Like, back in line. And I looked back and there was no one there, and I was like freaking out. I was like, either I'm fucking hallucinating because I like barely like, I'm just like I'm fatigued, or if fucking someone just like wanted me to make sure I get into this unit. So I still think like to this day, like that was my dad helping me out.
Dude, military ghost story, bro. That's inspirational.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, I mean, I guess you felt like it was your father, or did you feel like it was your father, or what's going through your head when that goes down? Like, how are you not like thinking about that all day, every day for like years, bro? How does that happen to you? And you're just like, oh, well, I guess it what am I making for breakfast? Like.
Well, I mean, again, like I told you, like I believe in, I do believe in, like, things that are out of our understanding and out of this world, and I
For
do
sure.
think that people live on in some way, some form or the other. And so, I mean, I've had conversations. I've had times where, like, I flew back one time from the army to visit a family, and I was going through something, and I just took the car and I drove off, to the woods, just like found like a fire pit and just made a fire and just like chilled out there, with like some food and I remember like speaking to the fire, kind of speaking to my dad, and I could like at one point in the conversation where like I got to a certain, like I can't remember like what specifically I was talking about, but at one point, I was looking up at the sky, and I could like see the stars, and I was kind of like talking to him. And when I looked down, like the coals that were just like a little dull, just kind of lit up at me. Like once I finished saying what I had to say, and I was like just kind of feeling like that energy and that response. So I don't know. I kind of accept it as a part of life. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't like give it too much thought.
Bro, I get it. I just got the gnarliest goosebumps like everywhere when you were telling that story, dude. That's fucking crazy, bro. Like, also, damn, dude, you've seen a lot of fucking ghosts, bro. Jeez. Save some for the rest of us. God damn.
Charles, you trying to see a ghost, Charles?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same ghost, man. It's also come to me in my dreams too, bro. Like,
oh wow.
What if you? Yeah. Well, one, to Harris, to answer your question, yes, I am trying to see a ghost. Still have yet to see a fucking ghost. It's been, tell your dad to come say what up. Actually, don't. Careful what you wish for, type shit. I'll take it from you on that. But
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what kind of like shit has appeared to you in your dreams? I think, me and Harris have talked about this too. Like, where do dreams exist? Like, is it a way to tap into some kind of place between worlds? It's some kind of access point to, access the collective unconscious, or maybe other dimensions, or whatever you want to call it. Really, we're all talking about the same thing, which is the network behind what we see and feel in our everyday lives. So, yeah, tell us about that. What have you seen in your dreams that was ghostly?
Well, there are a lot of people who say that like they dream of people who've passed on.
Yeah.
And for years, I had no dreams about my dad, like nothing, right? And it was like a pretty traumatic experience too. And like, like he had been in the hospital, like in a coma for like 10 months before.
Wow.
And it was a pretty like heavy time period as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough to make you move to Israel and join the army, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, man. So I was like just kind of in shock that like, I hadn't had any dreams about it, and like nothing coming to me in my sleep, because every night I heard people talk about that kind of stuff before. And I was like, oh, damn, like, I mean, maybe it's just like locked up, that trauma's like locked up away in there. And then my first dream was, like I'd say 4 years after he had passed. And I was dreaming that I was walking through a cemetery, and I turned a corner, and like I was like, those I guess those like burials that are like people who are buried in those like mini
like a mausoleum kind of thing, like a big, yeah,
exactly, where you can like walk inside.
Yeah, dude, those are, first off, those are just like pretty fucking dope ass spots. I don't know how you get one of those, dude, where you get like a little house for your dead body, dude. That thing is crazy. You go, there's like all these columns, and there's Greek writing and some gargoyles and stuff on it. Dude, how do I get one of those, dude? Like, you got a little, I can't even buy a house now, dude, let alone after I'm dead. I got my own house, man. Dude, that's crazy. Sorry, keep going.
You have to set it up with your family. Just make sure like they have you set.
Yo, I don't even want to buy a house for while I'm alive. I'm just going to straight put down a deposit for a house when I'm fucking dead, dude. Like, you know what? If I can, I'm just going to rent while I'm alive, and then, own when I'm dead, dude, like, why not? I mean, dude, the thing is too, is like, I've never walked into one of those things, but even imagine the vibe. Have you guys been inside like you're going into a dead person's like room, dude. Like, what is
Good,
the
bro.
vibe like in there, dude? Like, that's insane. I feel like it would be windy without any actual wind being in there. You know what I'm saying? There's like, you know, you're hearing like kind of sort of shit going on.
Yeah, like a abandoned treehouse kind of. That's how I see it. Abandoned treehouse made of stone. Something like it's made of stone, but it's like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm cozy, but I'm not really supposed to be here too long.
Dude, when I die, I'm trying to get buried inside the trunk of a tree so that I can just keep growing, dude. And
Oh, there we go.
you know, they chop the tree down to make some paper or whatever later. They find me in there just fucking, hey, you know, kind of just staring at them. But anyway, dude, anyway.
Solo, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
So you
and Havneh, you know, I'm sure we both appreciate you opening up about this, you know.
Oh, seriously, dude. Yeah, this is incredible. I mean,
sure,
this is amazing.
I don't like get the, I don't usually like, I mean, I share like, you know, here and there about like, you know, what I've been through, but I don't really ever go into these stories.
Oh yeah, no, podcasting is totally therapeutic, man.
For real.
For sure.
No, for real. Dude,
Yeah, so I was, you know, in my dream walking through the cemetery, turning the corner, it was like little path kind of going down, like a little ramp going around into the mausoleum. And right when I turned the corner, my dad like rushed past me.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And he didn't stop too. And I was like, yo. And then I was like, no, I didn't say yo, but like I was like trying to get his attention. And he just like, you know, kept going. And that was it. And then I woke up. And then I was like super bummed out because I was like, fuck, like that was it. Like I was waiting for him to come to me in my dreams. Like I was like, but fuck, like that's all I get. And then like that was it. And I think like 2 years went by. Maybe even a year went by after that. But I was already living in Tel Aviv with my girlfriend. And I had a dream where my dad came back to my life, like just like got reincarnated and like came back. And it was like, I was like, just, it was super emotional, right? Because it was like,
yeah,
like fuck, like finally seeing him after all this time. And it was like,
yeah,
waking up like when I woke up, I also like, you know, obviously got like really emotional too, because I was like, you know, realized like it was just a dream, but like I was like, it was like I saw him like entirely him, like he was like, you know, talking and all that.
Did he reference being dead at all? Like, did he reference like coming back to life, or was he acting like totally normal?
I think there was an understanding that like he had been gone for some time, but he was like back and with me in a way, in like a comforting kind of feel.
But he wasn't like making a big deal out of it. It was kind of just like, you know, I'm back now.
It wasn't my dad. Like Harris remembers my dad. He was like a pretty like chill, calm, like, you know.
Word.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was that. Like I woke up, remember like being like hell emotional about it, and then like recently, I think this was about a year ago. And I had in the past couple of years like kind of gone through this whole journey, the spiritual journey with myself, and my identity, you know, as a Black man in the world, and kind of like really connecting to that after like years of me kind of like putting my effort into the Jewish part of my identity. And I've gone through a lot in that, and I kind of felt like I came to a good place with it, with so much pride. And after I, you know, done a lot of studying about, you know, like history, you know, in the Black civilization and all that. And it was funny because like my dad was, you know, civil rights activist and everything. And so like, you know, I really wanted like a part of me like would have loved to conversate with him and like see where, you know, where his mind is on that kind of stuff. And, like,
for sure.
Opinions on that stuff.
Yeah.
And I had this dream where my dad appeared, and it was also a short one. And you know, we started talking, and he was telling me, he was like, yo, like he was like you're in the right place. That's what he told me. He's like, you're in the right place. Like,
wow,
on the right path, and like I'm really proud of you. And like you're doing like exactly what you need to be doing. And I was like, damn, like that was like insane to hear, because I was like, and my dad was my only role model too. So like, you know, to get that like affirmation from him as well, and to hear that and to know the like what the path I'm going through is like, is in his eyes, like, you know, like the right thing. So
You know, most people don't get that from their father ever, let alone after he's passed, you know, after he's passed away, dude. You're really, I mean, you know, yeah, dude, people work their whole lives, base their whole identity around trying to get that sort of like affirmation or sort of validation of who they are from their father. You know,
Well said.
and you got that even after he passed away. That's pretty special, man. I would even say, just to tie this back into everything that we've been talking about today, the Jewish people have been seeking that sort of affirmation from their father, despite the fact that they've gone through all this stuff. You know, it's like, do you love me? Do you really love me? You know, I thought I was your son. Yeah. Yeah, dude, you know, in the face of like all these tragedies and all this kind of shit, this struggle, right? That's the whole, you know, that's the whole Old Testament, right? Is like constantly getting shit on and then being like, why, God, why did you do this? You know, that's sort of like, you know, I would say that's sort of like a daddy issues type thing where you're kind of seeking that sort of like validation or like, what's going on with me? Like, why are you treating me like this? And, yeah, wow, that's actually a really crazy connection right there. But I mean, dude, that's really cool, man. That is definitely more ghost stories than I've had. And I would say, I would ask you, what do you think? Like, I know you believe in ghosts and that it's just a part of life. And it sounds like he is coming back to. First off, I think when he was running, like you saw him in the peripheral, and he's running, it's probably because he was going to push your ass in the fucking soldier line. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just like, he's running up to go fucking push your ass forward.
Yeah,
like, you know,
time's not linear,
dude. Exactly. Like who knows how? I don't know the rules, bro. I don't know the rules. He was running forward to push your ass forward, dude. So
that's crazy.
Like, what do you think?
He had a running start. That's why you fell forward,
dude. Exactly. Yeah, dude. He's like running fucking. He's running. Was that before or after that incident happened? Do you remember?
I think he said it was after, but like,
after, yeah, it was
like we
after.
said, but like we said, the time. Who knows what?
Yeah,
it's not linear.
Different dimension. Who knows? That could have been entered the time well before it happened. You know,
dude, for sure. Yeah, or he's like chasing after your fucking dog from the first story. I mean, dude, that is fucking insane. But dude, so what do you think that is? Like, is it his consciousness is like preserved after death and he's sort of watching, or like he's existing in a sort of like heaven or post-death world and he's able to come back? Or like, what is it, a part of you? Like he's a part of you and it manifests itself through a dream? Or like, dude, what is that? If you had to explain the unexplainable, some kind of, you know, what is that? Like, what do you think that is?
You know, like, I mean, I could say it's a mix. It's a mixture of the fact that he had this presence about him that really, like, everyone kind of felt connected to him in a way. Like, I mean, people who remember my dad, like when they were kids, like, you know, picking up from school, and like they have these memories of my dad. Like, you know, Harris remembers my dad. Like, he had this kind of whole like presence about him. Like everyone was really like kind of pulled in towards him. And you even saw it like at his funeral, dude. Like people were like standing out the door, like in lines, just like there was like hundreds of people there. We weren't like some kind of like, you know, affluent family with some powers. Mm-hmm. We were just like, you know, a little like regular family, right? So you like saw how many souls he touched in his lifetime.
Wow.
So this power about him. So I think that was something that definitely stayed afterwards, and that just like that energy. And also, I mean, I think that maybe he's in me in some way, because you know I've had people like take pictures of me and like, you know, when I grow out my beard and like, you know, just like, and put it next to another picture of him, and you see this insane like similarity. There's even a picture of me at my junior prom, and there's a picture of my dad when he was in the Navy, and I'm telling you, bro, this picture is literally the same dude. It's like the same person. It's crazy. The eyes are the same. Whole, everything.
I think I saw that. I went to visit your mom before she sold her house, and I think I saw that picture on the I don't know if it's called a mantle, but like when you walk in and then you turn around to the right in the living room, there's like the two pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my dad in the Navy as well. Yeah,
I think I remember that. It was a while ago. The memory's fuzzy, but I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that there's definitely a part of him in me, and that other people, like I've had people come up to me and be like, "Whoa!" Like just in these moments, kind of like feel like they see my dad in me in some way. So maybe, who knows? Maybe we're connected.
Maybe.
My take from, having just met you like an hour ago, what I was kind of thinking is like the fact that you went over there and did all this stuff, like I'm assuming that had a big part of doing with it, like your own personal growth was experiencing this sort of tragedy, and that kind of catapulted you into, leveling up yourself and taking all this responsibility, becoming the guy you are today. Probably would not have happened without all this tragedy that happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like that connects you, I think, more than anything. Is it's like, even in passing, he sort of motivated you to become like sort of like a man, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong? You know what I mean?
I think you're 100%. I think that was also something that I had feared in the beginning once he had passed, because I felt like, I still kind of needed his advice and stuff like that. And I was kind of like, because my dad really had like, it was one of those people who had like the answers for everything. And he had something wise to say about like everything, like sort of like Yoda. Well, not little because he was huge, right? But it was like a big.
He was a big guy.
Yeah, and so I remember telling myself like who am I going to turn to for answers? And like I still need that guidance, and I think at one point maybe I don't know, like maybe I kind of like reached a state of whole with that, and yeah. Like no longer, I mean, in some way, like kind of living vicariously through him. Not vicariously, I don't know if that's a word, but
or vicariously through you, if he is.
Yeah, exactly. So, who knows?
There you go, man. That's the magic of DNA and whatever kind of whatever else is going on, dude. I got a lot. I mean, I don't know how. I got a lot to think about after this one,
bro. A lot of DNA in you.
I'm a big DNA receptacle, dude. That's me.
Oh God, bro. Where's
a lot
of spilled milk in there?
A lot of lactose, bro.
A lot of lactose.
Not lactose intolerant.
Oh
no.
You should. I'll give you that girl's number.
I'm all good. I think I'm all right.
I'll get it off of me, man.
Nah, bro. I only drink oat milk, so I couldn't have done it. Your Honor.
I thought of telling her like, hey, I'm getting fatter. Like, get her less obsessed with me. Like just.
Dude, that's actually
all my problems.
Great idea, dude. Tell her. You should have her listen to the podcast, or I don't know.
Yes, I can send her a link.
She might fall in love with you more, bro.
We need the views.
Yeah, dude. There you go. Take what you can get, bro.
It's just her, a couple friends, family friends, and the NSA, bro.
Yeah. Here's the thing though about like not getting really any views is that you can just say shit and it's not like a huge, like I feel like it's way less of a worry. You know what I mean? Like I feel
That's
like
true.
way more open.
We're at the fun part right now.
Exactly. The underground, bro. Then we can look back and
she's lactose intolerant, bro. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she's lactose intolerant. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, maybe.
Projecting.
She had this whole like reaction to it, and she's like blaming you, bro. Like, oh, you fucking drugged me. Like, nah, you just lactose intolerant like me.
Yo, her lactose intolerance causes sleepiness and almost a delirious drug-like state. Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude, she was drunk though. I remember that because we were drinking at a bar, and then I actually had to basically save her from drinking more. I took her drink and I put it on the other side of the bar. She asked me where it went. I was like, I don't know.
Check the fridge, bro. Drinks. It's in the milk carton. Yeah. Dude, that's hilarious. So you guys basically, what you're saying is you guys came back home after that. She was super drunk. She drank milk and coincidentally got sleepy at the same time. And then
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Okay. I don't have milk in my fridge.
Yeah. What? She just made up the milk totally?
Yeah, she just made it up.
Why would you say milk out of everything? Like milk, dude? Who the fuck drinks milk at someone else's house? Like you pull up and you're like, yo, let me get a tall glass. Is this 1950, dude? What? Am I at a diner in 1950?
Who drinks milk, bro? No, and that's the thing. And then she basically, her message was along the tone of like, hey, I remember this thing and I think I was sleepy, but I just want to talk to you. And I just, she wants to talk to me, like, cause I'm ignoring her, but then she's like, well, maybe there's this threat, but also I just want to talk to you. I just want to see how's it going and what's up. And I care about you, but also there's this threat, if you don't talk to me.
Dude, that's actually totally crazy.
It symbolizes something else that she wants to drink. Who knows?
Oh,
I think there's some subconscious.
Maybe there's some, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I asked her. Actually, she wasn't into that. I asked her.
What did you say to her?
If she drinks milk.
Well, my little brother's in the other room, but yeah, along those lines.
Oh, wow. I'm glad we're paraphrasing here.
Yeah. Damn, there you go.
Yeah, I got my headphones on, so he can't hear you guys anyway.
There we go. Well, I don't know. I think that's a good note to end on.